So, good morning or good night, depending on where you are in the world. And welcome to another Halloween special of Today I'm Not the Shield Dude in the Couch. I'm the Lord of the Couch. And today, joining me, I have Brujita Sabrosura and I have Norberto from Small Reviews joining us today. And on today's episode, last year we talked Halloween music. This year we're going to talk about Halloween movies. So what we're going to do for this video is that each one's going to pick 5 movies and we're going to talk about those movies and why we're recommending them. And yeah, that will be the video and we'll talk some stuff about movies and Halloween. So we'll start with Senorita Sabrosura. So first of all, how are you guys tonight?
Good, good. How are you?
I'm feeling good. I have my sword.
and
Uh, and,
and welcome, Norbert, for the first
oh,
time.
thanks for the invitation. I love movies. I love watching movies on Halloween season. So this is gonna be fun. This is gonna be a fun one. I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Of
Yeah, of
course.
course. The more, the merrier. So, yes, we all know that Senorita Sabrosura and myself, we love Halloween. This is our second year celebrating Halloween on the channel. So, Senorita, so let's start with you. What's your? We'll pick 5 movies. I'm not gonna do it in any order of which one I like more. I'll just do them randomly. So, which movies? Which is your movie number 5?
Okay. Well, I don't have any order either. But one of my favorite movies, it's The Craft. It's a movie from the 90s, and it's about
There it
four
is.
girls, teenagers, outcasts, who practice witchcraft. Oh, I love that scene. The bus driver, when tell them when they left the bus, he tells them, "Hey, watch out for the weirdos, girls." And she answered, "We're the weirdos, mister."
Oh yeah, I remember that scene so well. And I don't know, I had such a crush on the evil one, on Farusha Balk, I think was her name. I thought she
Yes,
was super hot.
you like bad
Only
girls.
you. Everyone got a crush on her.
Apparently, yeah, I
Everyone in
wanted
the
the girl who was
90s.
gonna hurt me.
I
Yeah,
love this movie. I love this movie so much when I watch it. Like, oh my god, that's
yeah.
that's a good one.
It's actually not scary, but it has certain parts like whoa, like they dabble into witchcraft and they get overwhelmed with powers and they struggle, and they turn on each other, and that part on the house, that's a little scary.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
and
yeah.
Farusha,
It
yeah,
gets scary. Uh, it gets scary in the last 30 minutes. That's for
yeah.
sure.
I have a funny thing about this movie. The other day, I read someone commenting that The Craft was just Mean Girls with magic. And I'm like, first of all, this movie came before
Yeah,
Mean Girls with Magic. But I think
It
Farusha
doesn't
witchcraft.
make
was,
sense at all because yeah, Mean Girls is the craft without magic. That's the way it is.
that's the way. And that movie also had a killer soundtrack.
Yes, yes. A lot of the movies from the 90s had good soundtrack.
That is very true. And I think it's aged pretty well. I saw that movie like a few months ago, and I think it's still aged well. And I read that they wanted to do a remake, and I say, no, no remake of The Craft. Watch the 1996 movie.
I don't think it's gonna work. Like
No.
kids
No.
today are not
Yeah,
into that,
it's
or kids today are not gonna be mean to each other. This is from the 90s where when bullying wasn't as
Yeah,
much of
no.
a topic. Yeah, like I don't think it's gonna work nowadays.
No. People get offended too easy.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
people are gonna get
And
offended.
now everyone is like, ooh, witchcraft, that's bad, that's from the devil.
Well, they'll be like it's not inclusive.
Yep.
But
Or
yeah,
it's
I
not
think
inclusive, exactly. Yeah.
the movie is pretty good. So there you have the craft. So Norberto, uh, what's your number five movie?
Speaking about witchcraft, I wanted my list today to be more aligned to what I wrote on the website a few weeks ago. And I'm gonna start with a very interesting one, kind of a deep cut. Is a 1922 movie called Hassan. Speaking about witchcraft, Hassan is a silent movie about witchcraft from the 17th century to the 1920s, and it chronicles each era of the belief of witchcraft. And it got demons, it got witches, it got all kinds of stuff that were not normal in a movie for the times, and it was way ahead of what movie were in 1922. Is a very interesting film, and it's easy to find. I
That's a
think.
very deep cut. I have never heard about that movie. And I'm always like checking movies about witchcraft and witches, and I have never heard about that movie before. It
Yeah,
sounds interesting.
yeah, it's one of these Criterion collection movies. I think it's in HBO Max. It's definitely is in the Criterion channel, I think.
Okay.
But that's the way to get the movie nowadays. And I heard that the director uh, was doing an essay, and it's pretty much a visual essay of the history of witchcraft up to that time. And it's so everything is so explicit and so graphic. You got all kinds of stuff happening in that movie. It's a very interesting one and a very spooky one. It's scary. So
So it's from 1921.
22.
1922.
Wow. So this is 100-year-old movie.
Yeah,
Wow.
Wow.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I gotta see it because obviously I never heard of it, but yeah, it sounds interesting, like a silent movie about witches. So yeah, that sounds interesting. So yeah, good. It's good. So I'm sure a lot of people that watch this video will be will discover this movie thanks to you. So I'm taking
yeah.
it a little bit further in the future to a time called the 80s, a time where vampires didn't sparkle and were actually scary. And I'm talking about The Lost Boys. To me, that's my favorite movie about vampires. I think a close second is Interview with the Vampire, but sometimes I think Interview with the Vampire takes itself too seriously. So I like The
Yeah.
Lost Boys.
Oh,
I like The Lost Boys
my
more.
favorite it's Bram Stoker Dracula and then the Lost Boys. But
Yeah,
yeah, it's a
that
good
was
pick.
good too, but I asked the both of you, and this is a very serious question. Uh, do, does any of that movie have this? See,
No,
this movie,
no,
like,
No.
hey guys,
man.
you know what this vampire movie really needs? A sexy buff dude in a saxophone, and I think his name is Tom Coppello. I googled it, and someone
Okay.
spoke,
He has like
and
a very tight jeans, like the
yeah,
studs, the chains
Yeah,
on
I
the
feel
neck.
like every vampire movie should have a sexy buff guy doing anything because
Please.
vampires are sexy. So
yeah,
every
and that
vampire movie should have that.
And also, that movie was the movie that brought to fame the two Corys, Corey
Yeah.
Haim and Corey Feldman. That's the movie
Yeah.
that brought them together and broke them. And you had obviously Kiefer Sutherland playing like well, if anyone hasn't seen it, let's say he's the protagonist of the vampires, because if no one has seen it, we don't want to spoil it. But yeah, he's David, and I don't know, like in the 80s, like if Kiefer Sutherland was in a movie, he was usually the bad guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he was the bad guy in Stand By Me. In so many movies, he was the bad guy. So when he did that 24 series, I had a hard time at the beginning, like looking at him as the good guy, because he's like, no, he's always the villain. But yeah, that movie has a great soundtrack as well. Like we were talking
Such
soundtrack,
a
it had
such a
that
good
Cry Little
movie.
Sister,
Yeah.
and
It
also
would
it had
be,
the other actor Jason Patrick, who
yeah.
in more gossip news, in 1990, Kiefer Sutherland dated Julia Roberts, and she broke up with him. 2 days later, she went with Jason Patrick, so they are no longer friends.
Oh,
You see,
wow.
I
Oh,
see Entertainment News.
man. But that's such a good movie. That's a perfect double feature with The Craft. It kind of goes on the same line of coming of age, teenagers in high school, horror movies, and man, it would be a great double feature. The
Yeah,
Craft
I think The
and
Lost
Lost Boys,
Boys
such a
is
cool
more
movie.
scary as a whole movie. There's more scarier parts because they are menacing as vampires.
Mm.
Uh, Plus the movie has like a like you don't they don't show them to you at the beginning, like when they there's like the first people, the first victim is that police officer that he stops them in the boardwalk, and then he's like walking to his car, and you see them, you hear something flying but you don't see them. And I think that's something that I like about all movies, that they put just the
They play
music
with
and
your mind.
the sound of something flying, and it's more scary that now that they show you everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my number five. So we're back to Brujita Sabrosura and her number four.
Well, speaking of teenagers, troubled teenagers, my next pick is Donnie Darko. I watched it. I think it was last weekend, and this is a movie I could watch 100 times and I never get bored. It's with Jake Gyllenhaal. Uh, I love this movie. I like the soundtrack. I like the colors of the movie. And I don't know if any of you watched this movie, but it's like a troubled teenager that he has like a bizarre, well, he escapes like a bizarre accident and I start having visions, and he starts seeing this man in a rabbit suit named Frank that's he manipulated him to do crimes and violence, and but it's telling him also that the war is gonna end.
Yeah, I remember seeing that movie at least once. And now when you mention the plot of like an evil bunny suit, it's like an Attack of the Furries.
Man, that bunny suit is so cool. I remember watching the movie when it came out. I
Yep.
was blown away by it. The soundtrack, cinematography, everything, the plot. Jake Gyllenhaal, great actor. I was blown away when I see it. I was gonna revisit that movie. I got it on my playlist in one of these apps. There's a lot of them, but yeah, I'm planning on revisiting this one because
Yeah.
I remember
I haven't watched
loving it when it came out.
Yeah, I haven't watched it like in a few years, so I watched it recently, and it's like, wow, this is a really good movie. I love when Jake Gyllenhaal, Tony Darko asked the Frank, why are you wearing that stupid bunny suit? And then Frank asked, why are you wearing that stupid human suit?
Yeah, it's a cult
It's so
classic,
funny.
right?
Yeah, it's a cult classic.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
think it's a movie for everybody, but it has a cult following.
Yeah, because I remember, yeah, it got like a cult following, and I think it did better after it came. It didn't do that well in movie theaters, but I think after movie theaters, it was when it got like the real
Yeah,
buzz, and I think that was the movie that broke Jake Gyllenhaal.
yeah.
Yeah,
That
And
that was.
Maggie Gyllenhaal, his sister's also it's in the movie.
oh, yeah, that's why
Yeah,
I'm like, I
the
think his
Gyllenhaal.
sister's also in the movie.
Yeah. And plays his sister.
That was an easy casting to do.
Yeah.
So, Norberto, we're going now to your number four.
Yeah, I'm going with another classic. I'm going with The Exorcist. The Exorcist is a masterpiece for me. The new movie came out, and I haven't seen it. I don't even want to see it because this is the one. Like this
Yeah.
is the masterpiece. This is the classic that should not be touched by any sequel or remake. I love this movie. I think it's one of the scariest movies ever, and it still holds up. 50 years later, it still holds up.
Oh,
Like
it's been
it
50
doesn't get
years.
scarier than that. Yeah,
Yeah. I remember
1973, I
watching
think.
it and it's super scary.
Yeah, super scary and even gross when she throws up and
Yeah,
all
yeah,
that
that's very
shit.
good. I remember watching it like I don't know what age the but like a double feature, The Exorcist and The Omen, and I didn't know which
Whoa.
one was scarier. like like
I
which
think
one
both
is
are scary,
scarier? Both
but
are.
I
Yeah.
would go with the Exorcist. But yeah, both are scary. And
I don't know. I'm afraid of kids, so for me,
you're
The
afraid of
Omen,
kids.
The
Yeah.
Omen, yeah. But
After
yeah,
that
both
double
are
feature,
scary.
Well,
yeah,
well,
it scarred you for life. And you
Yeah.
know, you're afraid of kids since that night.
yeah. And the Exorcist, I actually went to Washington D.C. and I went off the Exorcist steps.
Ugh.
Oh yeah, they call it the Exorcist steps.
Oh,
Did
I
you
went.
feel
really?
like a something when you were there?
No, it was a lot of fucking steps. So I got tired.
You just feel tired.
And I did it with my kids. But yeah, the thing is, you see the movie and you see like the house is in front of the steps, but it's actually not. The steps are further away than from the house. But the way they did it, it looks like the steps are right there. But it's impressive, and they have a plaque that says these are the exorcist steps. And of course, people go visit them. But yeah, there was no people like with the head spinning or vomiting, or how you would say, a date gone wrong. Yeah, if
Yeah.
you're on a date and the girl starts puking and her head starts spinning, yeah, it's not a good date.
Nope.
It's not a good. Yeah. Run
And
away from that
did
day.
you did you guys ever see the spoof of that movie? There's a spoof of that movie with Leslie Nielsen, and actually Linda Blair reprised her role, and it's called Repossessed.
I
Because
think I saw parts of it. Yeah.
yeah, I know the movie exists, but I've never seen it.
It's funny.
Funny. Leslie Nielsen was so
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah, but I think that even after all these years, I still think because they've done a lot of movies now about exorcisms, and none of these movies come even close to The Exorcist, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So
No,
yeah,
the only one I see that I like it was the third Exorcist movie, The Exorcist 3. This time the exorcism is on a criminal, on an adult criminal, and it gets very scary, and it's a cool movie. It's a cool 90s movie to watch. And some random stuff happening like helicopter shot and things like that. It's a it's a good movie. I really like
Yeah.
that one. Other than that, no, not even close to the original.
Yeah. So now we're going to my number four, and we're going to lighten the mood a little bit. This movie is my favorite movie of what happens when you die, and it's called Beetlejuice.
Don't say it 3 times.
No, I won't say it three times, but if you think about it, when this movie, they have there's lots of movies about the afterlife, and everything's like so pretty, and everyone looks great. But this one's like, no, this is like you die, and you go to any like government office and then do a line. Like remember there's the scene where the two main Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis, they just figure out that they knock 3 times on the door and they get to the place and they give them the number and they're like, oh, do you have an appointment? And they're like, an appointment for what? And I think it's like so hilarious, and I hope that when I die, or it's not like that, because I will be like, damn you, Beetlejuice, you're right.
Yeah, it's like a government
Yeah,
office in
what do you
Puerto
guys think of
Rico.
Beetlejuice?
I think
Beetlejuice is great. I love it too. I enjoy that movie so much.
it has a great soundtrack too. Great actors like Catherine O'Hara, uh, Michael Keaton, Winona Ryder. I think it's great
Yeah,
and
and
Yeah,
it's
actually,
fun.
I read that they're actually doing a second part now.
Yes.
I'm kind
yes,
of excited, but kind of like,
Oh,
a lot of years have passed since the last Beetlejuice. It's like, do we need a sequel, or is it gonna be like super lame? So I don't know. I'm glad that Michael Keaton will be back, because I think besides Batman, I think my favorite role from him is Beetlejuice.
yeah,
He
yeah.
was
Those
just
are
so
his two
funny
classic roles.
and
it was great.
crass, and yeah, it was just, it's great. I saw like Travis Barker from Blink 182 dressed in Halloween, dressed this weekend like Beetlejuice when he's gonna get married to the Winona Ryder character. I'm like, that looks awesome. So yeah, I think
Right.
it's a comedy, but it's a dark comedy that really goes for Halloween, because Halloween's about the afterlife. You can get more like
Yeah.
Halloweeny than that. So that's my number four. So I think we're going now to Senorita's number three, right?
Three. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, lightening the mood. I'm gonna continue with Hocus Pocus. Uh,
I've never seen it.
I can't believe you have never seen Hocus Pocus. Never have you seen
Man,
Hocus Pocus?
you gonna watch it, dude. Dude,
I
you
know,
gonna
that's why
You
watch
have to
it.
watch it
Watch it
this weekend.
tonight.
my girlfriend said that I have to watch that movie. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I'll watch it with you.
Yeah, make a date with her and watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a really great fun movie. It's nothing out of the world, but it's really entertaining. Again, teenage boy, who he and his sister, his family moved to Salem. He's having trouble getting accepted with the others, and he's trying to impress a girl. So they went to the Sanderson sister house. There is now like a museum, and he lights the candle. And the legend was, when a virgin lights the candle, the Sanderson sister, three witches, they were gonna return. They were executed in the 1700 century, 1700, I don't know. So they return, and they have only until sunrise to suck the life out of kids to have eternal life. So the whole movie, it's after he lights the candle, trying to like uh return the witches to,
To the afterlife. Yeah.
yeah,
I
I
love
can't
this
wait to see
movie.
it now.
Uh, Man, it's so funny. It's a fun movie. It's one of the funniest Halloween movies. This is a real Halloween movie for
yeah.
me. I
Bette
love
Miller,
Salem and
does a great character.
And I know
yeah,
Sarah Jessica Parker's in that movie too.
Yes, yeah, it's three sisters, Winifred, Sarah, and Mary. I don't know the name of the other one. But it's really fun.
So I
And
can
there
watch that with the kids.
and there's a cat there.
Oh yeah, the cat is funny too. Yeah, it's a family movie. It's a
Yeah.
comedy. Uh,
I know they
Nothing
make a second
scary.
part.
They did a second part and people were criticizing, but like come on, this movie is not for like my generation that watched the first. This second movie it's for the new generation. And
Yeah.
I watched it and it was fun. It was entertaining too. It wasn't as great as the first one, but it was fun. And like I say, it's made for the new generation. I know my nieces enjoy it.
Yeah. I have to see. I haven't seen neither of them. So
Yeah, you have to watch
uh,
the first one.
I'll have to watch it. So Norberto, what's your number three movie?
My number three, I love zombies, so I had to include a zombie movie, and the one I love is Dawn of the Dead. It's part of the Living Dead trilogy. It started with Night of the Living Dead. Then the second one is Dawn of the Dead. That is the one at the mall. They did a remake in 2004. Many people are familiar with the remake, which is good too. Both movies are good, but I like the '78 original is the one I'm mentioning. And Zombies at the mall, man, nothing can beat that.
Yeah.
Consumerism is metaphoric, is also very scary and gory and violent, uh, irreverent.
And not to be confused with Shaun of the Dead.
Oh
Not
yeah.
to be confused. Another great movie. Shaun of the Dead is awesome, but
Yeah.
but
I'm
Dawn
just
of the
glad
Dead is a
that you
great
didn't
movie.
say that
I
your
love it.
favorite zombie movie is World War C. That, that movie sucks.
That movie sucks. World War C. A funny thing that I read the
And I read
book.
the book.
Yeah, it's not even close to the book. It's just
No.
another Brad Pitt movie to catch in, and
But you know
that's
what I
it.
learned about that movie? If you look like Brad Pitt, you won't get beat by a zombie. They're like, no, you're too good looking to get beat. But like if you're ugly, you're fucked.
Yeah.
No, it was
The thing
no,
is,
spoiler alert. If you got sick or something, then they wouldn't attack you. That was the premise. But I read the book, and the book is so entertaining because it's like for the point of view of like reportings and different things, and they like mention like little things in that movie. But yeah, that movie was terrible. But yeah, those Dawn of the Deads, they're classic, and there's a lot of zombie movies to choose from.
oh yeah, yeah, and what she is interesting because Dawn of the Dead is criticizing the same thing that is happening with all these movies. Like people are going like zombies to see them in the Cineplex, all these mediocre movies. So there you go. So don't watch World War C, watch Dawn of the
Shaun of
Dead.
the Dead.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The original is hard to find, but the remake is also good. You can watch either one, and they're both
yeah.
good movies.
And on a note by that, if you gotta see a zombie TV show, skip The Walking Dead and see The Last of Us.
The Last
That
of Us
one,
is good. Yeah.
The Last of Us is great. And I correct me if I'm wrong, Norberto, because you're the expert on this subject. But I think that's the first like zombie show where they truly explain how people got infected in a scientific way that made sense.
Oh yeah, yeah, probably. Because it's just another in-depth HBO show with a lot of dialogue, and they take it easy and they let it burn slowly. So they try to create a world in which the zombies make sense. Definitely, at least that I know of, that is the one that explains the lore and the reason why zombies exist.
Yeah.
That movie, that series, it is the one.
Yeah, because The Walking Dead was just like, ah, yeah, everyone's a zombie. And I used to call that show, I called it The Boring Dead.
Can I ask, what season did you quit?
I think I didn't watch more than, I think I quit when Negan came around. The second season was so boring. They were all in this fucking barn for 10
Yeah.
episodes looking for this girl. And they're like, yeah, the girl's dead. I'm like, ooh, shocker, the girl's dead. And to me, what that show did, it was like, you remember the Incredible Hulk show? So
The Lou
on
Ferrigno one?
yeah, and so on every episode, the Hulk, he got mad, he turned into the Hulk, and he had to leave to another place. So on The
Yeah.
Walking Dead, they get to a new place, they kill all the zombies, there's a dispute, and then they're like, oh, we just killed all the zombies here. Let's move to another place. Why?
Why?
Why? And that's what the whole show was. They kept moving. If they would have stayed still in some place, they would have lived.
Yeah. It, it, I decided not to see it because every season they go to a new place, and the new place everything was good until they appear. At some point, you say like, "Oh, come on, those those guys are the real problem. Everyone is good on that place until they show up. They are the problem. I'm not gonna keep watching. Like, it's
I
gonna
don't even.
happen forever."
Yeah, I don't even remember when I quit watching it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a
but
it's a
I also quit after Negan. The season after Negan, I didn't finish that season because I got tired. I got fed up of the same BS, man. Like I hated it. Like
yeah.
okay, I quit.
So there you go. Do not see The Walking Dead. Ah, so so now my number three. Now I'm going back to the 90s, and this is a movie that actually like revived like the slasher films, but it's a movie that revived it. It's kind of witty and it's kind of like it's funny but scary at times too. And it's the first movie, the first Scream movie. I think it was 1996 when that came out. And the great thing about that movie is like on the poster you had Drew Barrymore, which was like the biggest star of that movie at the time. And you're thinking, oh, she's gonna survive this, and she gets killed in the first 10 minutes. And I'm like, yeah, that movie grabbed me from I'm like this, and like, do you like scary movies? And of course, after that, they did the spoof with Scary Movie. But you know what?
Yeah,
Scream was a very intelligent, like horror movie with that. It was a fresh take on slasher films, in my opinion. What do you guys think?
yeah.
Um,
One of the best. One of the
yes.
best, definitely. I
Yeah,
really
I
love it.
like I watched it on, I think it was Friday or Saturday. I watched the movie recently because I haven't watched it. But I saw the movie on when it came out on the movie theater.
Me
Oh,
too. I
really?
remember seeing that on the
Ah.
movie theater.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it on the movie theater, but I think that's the first horror movie I rented by myself. That I was the person giving the money and getting the tape. I think that's the first horror movie that I rented by myself. And you said it, such an intelligent movie. It's such a brilliant script, the way they do the meta storytelling. I really like it and I appreciate it
Yeah,
for that.
and it brought Wes Craven back. Like that was
Oh
like
yeah,
his comeback movie, and it was written by the Kevin Williamson, who
The
everywhere I'm
same
gonna.
guy who wrote Dawson's Creek.
Yes, and you know what I thought? Like, why couldn't he have killed Dawson?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that guy in the 90s, what he touched when he wrote, I think Dawson's Creek. Didn't he write Felicity too?
I'm not
I'm not,
sure.
I'm not sure,
I'm
But
but
not
he,
but
sure, but
I remember watching Dawson, and in Dawson, in some of the episodes, like they play with the Halloween, with the ghost face and the scary stuff, and it's like, why are they so into the Halloween? And I read that it was the same guy. It's like, what?
yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, Scream 1 was great, but the sequel sucked. I watched the other day Scream 2, and the best thing about Scream 2 is that Jada Pinkett Smith dies at the beginning.
that's good. That's good. I
Yes,
like it.
that I'm
Yeah,
like that's the best part of the
yeah.
movie. Like it should be Will Smith's favorite movie, but it won't be because he's a bitch.
Have you tried the new ones,
Oh,
the recent ones?
I saw the new one, and it's good, but I think it was they did what they did with Star Wars, The Force Awakens. So it was like the same plot of the original Scream. Like they played along with it. So I'm like, oh, I know what you're doing here. It
Yeah,
was good, but I still prefer the original.
yeah. What I
Uh,
like about the new ones is the dialogue when
mm,
they make fun of elevated horror, A24, all that shit that people talk about on the internet. And I'm
yeah,
like, oh, I understand that joke. I I
yeah.
like it.
Plus,
It's the
I'm
same
gonna be
plot, but the dialogue is good.
I'm gonna be controversial. I think Jenna Ortega is annoying as fuck.
Oh,
I'm
really? It can be
sorry.
worse. It can
She
be
is
worse.
annoying. And everyone's like, oh, you got to see Wednesday. It's so good. And I know I'm in the minority, but I'll say it again. I said it to my niece to their face. Wednesday sucked.
It's not for you. It's for teenagers.
I know, but they're like, why does it suck? I'm like, it's the language is crappy. The special effects, you can tell it's fake as hell. So yes, I know it's not for me. And then everyone's like singing, oh, that the Cramp song. You're singing an old punk song because it's cool now. So I know I'm
Yeah,
an
but
old man yelling at the new movie.
I like Gina Ortega, and she's on a very cool horror movie. She's on X, so that's a point for Gina. But the one new bitch in Hollywood I hate is Rachel Zegler, the one that appears in the new
Snow
West Side
White.
Story, and she's getting canceled for talking a lot of shit. That's that's the one I hate, man. I can't stand her. Like everything she does is
Yeah. Oh yeah.
shit.
No, I don't hate Jenna Ortega. I just think she's kind of annoying.
Okay, hate is a
And
strong
she's
word.
gonna
Hey,
be on the
I
new
think she's
Beetlejuice.
annoying. I think she's
hey. Oh
annoying.
yeah, she's gonna be on the new Beetlejuice. She's gonna be Winona Ryder's daughter. I
Daughter.
don't see.
Yep.
I don't see it. They don't look anything alike.
Who?
Well, we
Rachel
have to see
or
the
Gina?
father.
We'll have. Yeah, that's right. Maybe
Wait, wait. I
it
got
will be Lin
confused.
Manuel.
Well, who's the new Beetlejuice?
No, it's Michael
No,
Keaton.
No,
Jen
but who's
Ortega is
gonna be Gina?
Jen Ortega, but it's gonna be Winona Ryder's daughter on the new Beetlejuice.
Oh, really? They don't look
Yep.
alike, but okay. To each his own.
We have to see the dad.
Yeah,
That
let's
is
see.
true.
Let's wait for the dad.
Oh, I kind of like lost track. What number are I did my number three, right? Yes. So now we're going to number two, Senorita.
Well, this is another movie that I watched recently, and it back to the 70s, Suspiria. I know Norbert liked it because this
Yeah.
is a masterpiece. It's from Dario Argento. Look at that cover.
Oh yeah, that's
I love the music, the suspense, the thrill. Uh, it's an old movie, but it's so great. It has aged really well. Love the colors, the cinematography on this movie, and
I
Yeah,
again,
haven't seen this movie.
witches, and again, witches again.
yeah.
I-
Uh, I love it. I love it. My girlfriend at home love it. We love that movie. We can watch it every year if we want.
Yeah,
One of the most beautiful movies ever. And that soundtrack, Goblin, man. If you guys do a soundtrack episode again, I promise you talk about Goblin. Goblin has made some of the best soundtracks ever. Like Goblin and Dario Argento, everything they did together
it was
is
great.
so amazing. It's so awesome. It's a horror spectacle. Like I promise you, Goblin is one of the best bands that did movie soundtracks like ever. And man, I love Suspiria so much. I can do a Suspiria episode only like
I need to see that movie. I know the name, but I've never seen that movie. So that's one that I want to watch.
Shame on you. Well,
yeah.
this
Shame.
this American girl, she moves to Germany to perfect her ballet, and she's supposed to start in like a prestigious academy. And the night she got there, like it was raining. Like from the start, you see everything is going bad. Like it's bad sign. Like it's raining. The cab driver doesn't understand her, and when she gets to the academy, a woman doesn't want to open to her, like, no, we're not waiting for you, blah, blah, blah. And then another girl goes out and starts running in the woods. And the next thing you see, it's this girl that was escaping the ballet academy. She gets killed like right away, and it's so gore and the blood, like, oh,
Yeah, that sounds
it
just
grabs
like a
you.
trip. That sounds just like a trip I had to Europe. Yeah. Oh.
One of those trips.
But I had my
I
sword. I'm like, get
eh,
away, witches.
Yeah, no, and then
that
the next day she goes to the academy and they accept her, and she heard like they're investigating that that girl that she saw the night before was murdered, like horrible.
Okay. I'll watch that Friday nights with my kids. Yeah.
yeah,
I'm
watch
kidding.
it with your kids. It's gonna be
No,
fun.
Don't do that.
I'm not gonna
Don't
watch
do
it
that.
with my kids.
But
No, no.
another one, that's another movie with a good remake. Suspiria, the remake, is an equally good movie.
Oh, I didn't know they did a remake.
Yeah, the remake came out like 3 or 4 years ago, and it's
Really?
so good. It's a long movie, but it's such a good movie too. Like it's equally good. Some people might prefer that over the original. Even it's a great movie.
I have to see it.
I'll see. I'll watch both of them. Uh, so yeah. So now we're to Norberto's number two. Is it number two or number three? Oh my God, I'm still.
Yeah,
Number two, number two.
my number two, number
My
two.
number
I'm keeping track. Well, another classic. I chose Psycho because you know that's that's a classic. That's the original slasher scene.
Yep.
Look at that poster. Anthony Perkins and Janet Leigh over there. Alfred Hitchcock's seminal classic. Man, I really like. Did you guys ever watch it?
Of
Yes.
course. Yeah, I've seen this
Man,
one. And I
uh,
saw the remake, which I to this day I'm like, why did they remake this? Like,
I've never
like
watched
I'm
the
sorry,
remake,
but
I
but
haven't watched
Vince Vaughn didn't convince me as much as Anthony Perkins did.
man, Anthony Perkins,
Baseball. Oh my god. Oh,
yeah, this
I
one,
haven't watched
no,
it.
not
I
even
didn't even knew.
close. But
Yeah, it
Anthony
was Vince
Perkins,
Vaughn and Anne Hedge.
Wow. No, no, no.
So it was filled with rap.
If baseball wants to kill someone, he just have to start talking, and he will kill you
Just,
to boredom.
just show him some of your movies. And
Yeah,
Wow.
but nothing like Anthony Perkins. That character, the mild mannered guy, but there's something weird in his eyes, and then the plot twist came in, and it really makes sense. Oh, this explains a lot, and
Yeah,
such a
no.
well-made plot twist, like
yeah,
so good.
that
It is
movie did
so
what
well
Joss
written.
did to Shower. Sorry, Roberto, but yeah, that movie did what Joss did to not going to the beach. So I'm sure some people
To
didn't shower
showers.
after that for a few days.
Maybe, maybe, because
True.
it's really
I live by myself and I just left the curtain open. Like I don't care that the water go all over the bathroom. Like let me leave the shower curtain open because I live by myself. If I get
but
killed, like
yeah. But it's the
just
way
gonna
it was weird. Like you see the lady taking the shower, and you see something approaching and getting closer and closer, and suddenly you get the knife, and you don't. It's not explicit. It's not graphic, but it's even
Yeah,
scarier
it's the tension
than
and the music.
yeah, it's the tension. It's not the act. That's what people call Hitchcockian. One of the things that made the Hitchcockian term is that they never showed up the crime, but they built the suspense. And this movie is a perfect example of that.
yeah, because you could see like the thing with the knife, but you never see cutting, and plus they use, I think, like chocolate for the blood because this movie was in black and white.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
I remember going to Universal Studios and they explained how they did that scene, uh, which I thought was interesting. Plus, you never see the face of Mother. Uh,
Yeah.
when Obviously, if you haven't seen Psycho, there's a major plot twist. Uh, I'm sure everyone has seen it by now, but if you haven't, we won't spoil it. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's a great movie. So that leaves my number two. So for number two, I'm going with a movie that was adapted by a Stephen King book, and it's The Shining. Jack Nicholson in this movie is great. Obviously, we have this famous scene right here from The Shining. Uh,
There's Johnny.
It's Johnny.
and, and
So
there's
funny.
Olivia waiting for Popeye because she played Shelley Duvall played. I think she played a few years before the Popeye because she was uh,
Yeah.
the perfect Olive. But yeah, that movie until it's creepy, and I think Jack Nicholson. When the movie keeps building, you see how he keeps descending into madness, and
Yeah.
I think the score is great. Obviously, Stephen King wasn't he wasn't a big fan of the movie because I think they changed some things. But I don't know. I haven't still read The Shining, the book. I own it, but I'm so afraid of it. So I have some time. Remember the show Friends, where the the Joey character had The Shining and he put it in the freezer.
Yeah.
So I have it in the freezer. So when I'm not that afraid, I will take it out of the freezer and read The Shining. But yeah, the movie is great. I think the little kid like with the red rum and like he's so great, and plus the two little girls like come play with us, Danny. It's scary as
That is
fuck,
so
this movie.
creepy. That
it's
is
a
so
very
creepy.
it's a very creepy movie, and just it's creepy from the beginning because you get the isolation of the hotel,
Yep.
Yeah.
everything. What do you guys think of that, of The Shining?
One of the best. One of the
Yeah.
best. Stanley Kubrick. Oh my God. Everything he did was so good. Um, The
Even
Shining is a
Eyes Wide
classic.
Shut.
I love it. I like Ice White Shot. Yeah, I like that
I
movie.
like it. I like
I
every
know, I know
I'm
everyone
sorry.
doesn't like it. Like it's not for everyone, but
When I
come
saw
on.
Ice White Shot, I'm like, is this what an orgy looks like? Because it looks fucking boring.
You were
You
focusing
think
on
that's
the
funny?
on the
Everyone having a
orgy.
party with mask on and Tom Cruise working in that mansion, getting closer to the orgy, like scared of what
And I,
might happen,
yeah,
working slowly. That's
I know we're
awesome.
getting
That's a
off
horror
topic,
movie. Like,
but when I saw that movie and I saw Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman, they had no fucking chemistry. And I'm like, aren't they supposed to be like husband and wife? Like, I
Yep,
couldn't imagine
no,
them
no
having
wonder why
sex.
they got divorced. Yeah, no wonder why they got the divorce. Yeah.
exactly. There was no chemistry.
There was no none. It was non-existent. But getting back to The Shining, uh, so yeah,
Um,
Jack. Yeah, it's a great movie. I even saw it today.
You saw it today?
I read the book. I have read the book and I seen the movie and I like it. I understand why Stephen King got upset, but what I like about Kubrick is that he's not that obvious. Like in the book, you have to be obvious, like with certain things, so the reader can get it. But in the movie, Kubrick left some things to the imagination, and it wasn't that obvious, but you can see from the beginning, like you said, like the isolation, the creepiness, and how Jack is descending into madness and the violence.
Yeah.
Yes, it's violent.
Violence
So
against his own family. That's a movie about family, about abuse. Like, yeah, wow, such an awesome movie. That's another one I can watch like every Halloween season.
yep,
And it's aged really well.
Oh
yes,
yeah, it
So
tastes like wine. Yeah.
yeah. So I think we're down to number one for each and every
yes.
one of us. So, Senorita, what's your number one movie?
Well, I was gonna pick The Shining, but you pick it, so I didn't want to pick the same. Mine, I have to pick Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Of course you
I,
did.
I think I talked about that movie when we did the Halloween special music, because that's a movie I put every Halloween day. The 31st, I put Rocky Horror Picture Show. No matter what I'm doing, like if I'm going out, I'm gonna put the movie before while I'm getting ready, or if I'm not going out, I'm gonna put the movie and watch. It's a really great movie. I'm not a big fan of musicals, and I like this one.
Yeah. If I
The
work
stuff
out for
goes
2 years, maybe I'll dress like the transvestite vampire for Halloween.
And that song didn't age well, but people accept it anyway. So yeah, but that's not just another musical. That is like the musical. I I love it so much. We're from a generation that grew up loving this movie, or at least grew
Yeah,
up as an adult loving this movie, because like everyone our age is obsessed with this movie. Like I like it. I like it so
and,
much. My
and
dream is
it's supposed to be scary, but it's not. It's funny.
it's
Like
funny. Yeah,
like
it's funny and sexy. Yeah,
Janet, that is Susan Sarandon, and the guy, like they get a flat tire, so they're gonna ask for help, and they go to this mansion that is Dr. Frankenfurter, and they get trapped there.
Yeah,
in
it's
the mansion,
yeah,
and
it's
everyone starts singing in the mansion.
Everyone starts singing and dancing.
that happens every Halloween. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. I
I love Tim
absolutely love it.
Curry. I love Tim
Yeah.
Curry, and he does a great character.
Oh,
My
and
dream,
everything he does is great.
yeah, yeah. My dream is to watch it on theaters, watch it on one of those midnight showings. I guess I'm too old for that. I fall asleep if I put a movie after 10. But but
Well,
I do
what you can
whatever
do
it
is
takes to be awake.
take a nap,
Yeah.
and then go to the movie theater. I
Yeah,
think
because
too late.
I gonna have the experience of watching in a midnight showing.
Yeah,
I had the opportunity when I live in Alaska of all places. Imagine that. I never did it, so I don't know if they're showing it in Minneapolis. The theaters I follow don't have anything on the movie, so maybe uh, they're not playing it this year.
Ooh, Minneapolis. So now we're going to Norberto's number one pick.
All right. I did it in no particular order, and it's because I realized I got so many old movies, and I said like, let me choose a new movie, like a newer movie, and I chose Get Out, the Jordan Peele movie, Get Out. It was It's one of my favorite modern horror movies, and it's about this guy, this interracial couple going to visit the girl's family, the white girl's family, and having he has racial tension with this creepy ass white family,
yeah,
and it's a very interesting movie. It's a movie of our time. Too
yeah.
many racial tensions and the country divided. It's definitely a movie of our times, and I love it so much. Like it's one of my favorite modern horror movies out there. The way it keeps progressing, it keeps getting weirder and weirder and more violent. I enjoyed that movie. It's
You
so
know, I
good.
haven't seen that
I,
one.
You've never
I
seen it
didn't
yet?
enjoy that movie. That movie gave me so much stress.
Oh,
Like,
really?
uh,
Why?
it's so stressful. I don't know. It's because it's getting, like you say, it keeps getting weirder and weirder and violent, and it gave me so much stress because it's like this could happen now.
Yeah, it could
When it
happen.
came out, like
It
this
could
could happen
happen.
now. So
Yeah.
at one point I was watching it at home. I didn't watch it in the movie theater. I was like, okay, let me pause it and give it a break, and I'll watch it
Do some
like,
Rocky Horror Picture Show.
because no, I just like, let me go to the kitchen, to the bathroom, like let me
Yeah.
take a break and I'll come back because it gave me so much stress. But because it's a really great movie, you
You know,
have
I
to
haven't
watch it.
seen that movie, but I think I saw a show on Amazon that is from the same director, Jordan Peele. I can't remember the name of the show, but it was an easy show. It's a show about a family, the first black family that moved to what is was Compton, because at the beginning Compton was a white neighborhood, and it was a
Okay.
very weird, comfortable show. And I think it was a Jordan Peele show, but I can't remember the name of the show. But it has some of the most graphic scenes I've seen in TV. Like I remember that show, I had to pause it and watch something else. So if it's as uncomfortable as that show was, I'm sure it is. And I saw it on Netflix the other day that it's on Netflix, but I haven't seen it, that Get Out movie. But
It's
Yeah,
good, but
you
it's
gotta watch it. And the plot twist, I don't wanna spoil the movie, but I feel now I wanna talk about it because it's so interesting, but I don't wanna ruin it for anyone.
for
Maybe
me,
we can see it and talk about it afterward because it's very interesting.
yeah. So that leaves me with my number one choice in no order, but I'm thinking we're talking about Halloween. So what best that number one Halloween, the original Halloween, not the
Yeah.
Rob Zombie remake, the original one. with Jamie Lee Curtis, the Scream Queen, and obviously, her mother was in Psycho, right? She was the one who was in
Yes.
the in.
Yeah,
So
Yeah, yeah.
she's the one who got stabbed. Yeah,
so yeah, like she followed her mother's footsteps, but she told her mother, "I'm going to survive in my movie. You're going to make a whole lot of fucking movies from them. Some of the sequels won't make sense, but I'll be in them." But the
yeah.
original one,
I'm
you know,
gonna be the
it's
entire movie. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, the original one. I think Michael Myers is very scary, like because you got that blank space. That actually, I read that it was actually a William Shatner mask that they took and they put
yeah.
it white. For many years now, growing up, I thought it was Mariah Carey, but, but and I'm like that. I
Mariah
would be
Carey.
scary as hell is Mariah Carey with a knife and start singing "All I Want for Christmas." I'm like, no, please,
That
Mariah,
could
leave
be
me
a good
alone.
spin-off, Mariah.
That would be a good movie.
A
I'd
good
watch
spin-off.
that.
All I want for
Mariah Carey.
Christmas is you.
Mariah Carey in
Yeah,
Halloween. But yeah, the first movie, you know, it's a classic movie, classic slasher film. Plus, you can't think about that movie and not think about John Carpenter and
Yep.
his amazing tan 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 tan.
yeah.
tan. I'm like, who can listen to that and get freaked out? And I remember when I was a kid, I got pissed when they did Halloween free. First of all, I don't know why my parents let me watch those movies. Let's
Mine
talk
Look,
too.
about parents in the
we're
80s.
80s kids. We were allowed to watch horror movies in our
Yeah,
time. Like,
I remember
Yeah.
being a kid, and if there was a movie and where there was a sex scene, they would do this. And I'm like, you know,
yeah,
I can still hear what they're doing.
yeah. But
But
you
if
can
someone was
watch.
killed, they didn't
Yeah, they didn't. Yeah,
do
exactly.
that.
You, you cannot watch movies, but you can watch violence.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that first Halloween movie, you know, is classic. The soundtrack, and I think that movie that I think that was one of the first horror movies that was like a number one hit, right?
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. Man, I like the way they shot that movie. There's something about the low budget of that movie that make it work. Like it looks like a documentary. It looks like Michael Myers is there creeping on you. Like, yeah, I that's why it's one of my favorite movies. Maybe my favorite horror movie. But I saw that you guys chose it, and I decided to speak about another movies. But that would be my first pick if I have to choose, because Halloween is a great movie. It's the one that perfected the slasher formula. People talk about Psycho, talk about Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but it is Halloween, the one that perfected the formula. The modern slasher is Halloween. I love it. I love that movie. Look
Michael
at that.
Myers.
Look at that.
Yeah, yeah.
That
I
soundtrack, man. John
It's great.
Carpenter, he does great music. He still does great music. He's still doing music,
Yep.
I think. So yeah.
It's great. So we want to know from you guys what movies would you recommend for Halloween? It could be funny movies, scary movies. What are your top five movies? We want to know from you. And if you haven't subscribed to our channels, Senorita Sabrosura, you know, she talks about rock in Spanish. Plus, you have the Sabrosura.art merch where you can get and buy some of her earrings. She has other stuff for you to purchase. And Norberto, you have is it a podcast? What do you have, man?
I do the blog, the smallreviews.com, the small reviews on Instagram, review small on Twitter or X or whatever that chat is called right now. And I also do a podcast with some good friends in Puerto Rico. Our page is called Leche Coco Productions on Facebook and Instagram. We talk about beers and we also talk about movies. So you can
Awesome.
visit them. I'm on a hiatus because I'm trying to not sober up, but stop talking about alcohol at least for a few months, but you can still visit the guys and you're gonna have so much fun listening to them and eventually listen to me with them. So yeah, those are the two projects I mean.
I like
Well,
your blog, the small reviews, because I can discover movies, all or new movies that I haven't watched. Like, and you gave like a small review. Okay, I like it's not
Oh
like
yeah.
when you go and they have like the whole plot or the whole things. Like, no, it's a small review. Okay, this sounds interesting. Let me watch it.
Yeah, because my intention is not to give spoilers or talk about the entire plot. That's why the synopsis in the movies exists. I want to talk about my experience and exactly my experience as a Puerto Rican, as a movie lover with those movies and how they are changing my life and helping me within my mental health. So that's the mission of the small reviews.
Nice.
So join
man,
me in the mission, follow me, and let's talk about movies. Yeah.
yeah. And if you obviously follow my channel, we're like 19 subscribers away from 1K. So subscribe. I have a sword.
Yeah, let's do
He
it.
I will
commands
find
you.
Let's
you.
reach the thousand.
He
Yeah.
commands you to subscribe. The Lord
I
of the
command you
Couch.
to subscribe, or I will find you and make you subscribe.
Yeah,
So
1K on YouTube. Let's do it.
let's do it. So, people, first, we want to wish everyone a happy Halloween. Have fun out there. And remember, no one is putting drugs in your kids' candy. Drugs are expensive as fuck. And if you
Yeah.
give it for free in a candy, there is no profit. So there you go.
And also, let's keep the sermon. Kids are celebrating Halloween because of the candy, not because they adore Satan or whatever. They just want candy. They just want to have fun with their costumes. Skip the
Yeah.
sermon and give them the candy.
Give them the
Yeah.
candy.
We want candy.
So until next time, people, this is Hector, the Lord of the Couch,
Señorita
Senorita,
Sabrosura, brujita.
and Norberto, and we'll see you on another collaboration video. Thank you and happy Halloween.